Recording. Hey, Kristian, thanks for joining me on this call today. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you, Greg. And you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. So just for the audience that are listening in on this video, and I appreciate you doing this testimonial, I'd love it if you could just share with us what was the number one problem you were looking to solve when you actually, when we first spoke and you came into our program?
Yeah, look, I think that one's quite an easy one. The number one problem that I had was that I felt incomplete. Okay, and by incomplete, I needed to break through to the next level, but I was stuck. Right, so I was stuck in my own headspace, and I needed to break through with my physical more than anything else. So you know, I just felt really lost, but not lost, if that makes sense. So, I was able to perform at a peak state all the time, but there was something missing. And when we met, I just went, yeah, this is the guy that's going to solve my problems.
Yeah, fantastic. And there's actually two coaches in our program. So you got introduced to Tracy through it as well. So do you just want to share with the audience how you found the program and working with the both of us and kind of the major benefits that you got out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think the two-person approach um, really blew me away because originally I thought that I was just going to be working with you. And then when you mentioned that I was going to be working with Tracy, I was like, oh, this is great. I get two for the price of one. How can I not be happy, right? At this point, I wasn't even worrying about a result. No, the truth is, working with both of you in totally different areas was a phenomenal experience. And, you obviously spent a lot more time working with me on my mind, on self-limiting beliefs of the past. And I really enjoyed that. But working with Tracy was like totally the next level. Her ability to channel in and tell me stuff that I knew but wasn't prepared to own up to, life-changing, right? But let me not, please, let me not take away from the work that you and I did, because if we hadn't done that work, the work with Tracy wouldn't have been as impactful. So that I think that the greatest advantage about the program is that you get to work with both of you because it really brings this holistic approach to change.
Yeah, 100%. And that is beautifully said. And that's kind of the reason why we're both in it, is what I experienced myself. So I'd like to go a little bit deeper into that, because you're one of our clients that actually came into our program that already knew that he had a very high soul vibrational rate, or a really high spiritual connection, which you use to create abundance in a lot of areas of your life, but you still felt stuck. Do you want to share a little bit more about that? Because a lot of people that we talk to, they're just like, I know I've got more. I know I've got kind of some internal gifts and that I'm not accessing, and it's confusing, right? So love for you to share a bit more about that.
Absolutely. So, as you said, I've got a really high soul vibration. I didn't really know what that was, so to speak, until Tracy's first session, and Tracy looked at me with this almost horrified look of, who are you? But a lot of that made sense to me because I'd always had an incredibly strong connection to my God source. So let's just say that. I mean, obviously I'm a Christian. So, I have beliefs in God and Jesus and, and the Trinity, so to speak, but I never really understood why I felt the way I felt. And so for me, the huge transformation was being able to truly uncover all the golden nuggets that Tracy was able to pull out. And in fairness, I think Tracy had a bloody great time too, because she spent most of the time learning a whole bunch of new things, because the stuff that was new to me was also new to her in some areas, because because of how high my soul vibration is. And then obviously there was an outer soul. And so there's a whole bunch of layers. Now, the transformation that has done for me, I mean, I couldn't meditate for longer than 3 minutes. I'm now doing structured meditation for 30 minutes. I am now deeply connected with my higher self, and that reconnection was the main reason why all of a sudden, particularly in the last 3 weeks, I've had a complete transformation on how I perceive my physical. Working with you, we were able to go back and break those limiting beliefs. Now I actually do believe that that my body can be a temple. And boy, does my family know about it. I run around the house going, my body is a temple. And, they look at me and they're like, what have you done? What have you done now? But the reality of it is, it sparked an awakening, mate, and something I'm incredibly grateful for. And I think that anyone that's out there that feels like there's just some gap in their life, and that's probably the easiest way, that there's a gap, and particularly if it is something you feel in your heart. For me, one of the greatest outcomes of the program was that I was stuck in here. Now, anyone listening to this is perhaps not going to quite understand this, but because I have such a high soul vibration, I was able to separate my physical body to my higher self, and I lived in that state. And I've been able to succeed tremendously in life, but it's also been the sabotage to my life, because I've got all this success and I can't enjoy it because the likelihood was that I was going to drop dead in a couple of years' time. And boy, the experience I had with Tracy, if you're listening to this and you're considering the program, mate, you ain't got no idea what's going to happen to you. For me, I spent a week sick, and it wasn't sickness like you could understand. It was like just allowing that connection to happen. And in the last 3 weeks. Now, by the way, we've been working together for 3.5 months. The last 3 weeks, the transformation, the integration of all the things that we've worked in have allowed me to, not only start losing weight, but I have healthy habits that are developing in my mind where, I'm on anti-inflammatory foods only. I'm now drinking my celery juice every morning. That's fun. Drinking celery juice every morning. I've cut back from, drinking 2 or 3 times a week to one day, and now considering where that goes to. But the single most important fact was that I was able to reconnect, and that reconnection, it was very painful, but I'm reaping the rewards now, and I'll reap them over and over. Now, a caveat for anyone listening and for yourself, I still got plenty more work to do with Tracy. So we've got, I think this week, next week, maybe another week. We've got about 3 or 4 more weeks where we're going to dive a little bit deeper. Sorry, not 3 or 4 weeks, probably 3 or 4 more sessions, because I'm now really, really hungry to understand more. And, like I said earlier, my ability now to meditate for 30 minutes, like to think that I couldn't even sit still. Now I have a really deep connection where I have energy flowing from the top of my crown all the way through to the center of the earth. Now, if you'd asked me to talk like this 3 months ago, just would have been fat chance, right? But the thing is, now I just feel so comfortable because I truly understand what my gifts are. Now, understanding and putting them into action, I'm learning, are 2 different things. But I've got to take things slowly. And just to add, another thing that's really come out of this program, and it's been a combination of both of you, is that because I don't have those self-limiting beliefs anymore, I've developed a level of courage around what I need to do. And that confidence is coming through in my work. A lot of my clients have actually asked me what on earth I've been up to, because my energy levels are through the roof. But more importantly, I'm able to connect with them on a very different level. So that's really important, because obviously I get paid to give high level advice to CEOs and business owners who are looking to grow and scale their businesses. And you got it. You know, what I realized out of doing the work with you and Tracy was that most of my clients actually don't come to me because I'm a genius. They actually come to me because they want to steal my energy, right? They want my energy to rub off on them. And I think you and I had a chuckle when we first met. I said, people often call me a cheerleader or an industry evangelist. Well, now there's a bloody truth in all that. I now understand why. Yeah. But when you understand why, and I think this is the point I'm trying to get to, when you understand why, everything else falls into place. So, you know, even though I was very purpose driven and I know my purpose and I'm living my purpose, truly understanding why people are attracted to me like a magnet really now makes a difference, because I can use that to my advantage all the time.
I really appreciate you sharing all of that, because a lot of the education that Tracy and I do is to try and help people understand that true transformation can't be one-dimensional. We are multidimensional. We are mind, body, and soul. And you even sharing your story, you're a highly accomplished, you're a very successful businessman, but you still disconnected from your physical. And people, so many people in today's society, they're not only disconnected from their physical, but they're disconnected from their spiritual, because they are stuck in this fourth dimensional mind, which is quite self-sabotaging in its own. So just to kind of wrap up and to close off this testimonial, and I actually look forward to doing more videos with you because there's so much more that we can share. What would be your advice, or what would you say to other businessmen, men, professional men who are considering this type of work, this full holistic mind, body, soul transformation work? What would you say to them?
Well, firstly, it's a pretty easy decision to make, right? Because one of the things that I have never done, and I mean never, I've never really invested in myself. This was the first decision that I made that wasn't ROI driven. Yeah. Like, I made this decision and went, I need this for me. And I was drawn to it, and I know why I was drawn to it now, because I needed to break free. But a lot of men suffer in silence, right? Especially us corporate dudes, or entrepreneurs, particularly, you know, serial entrepreneurs that are wacko and crazy like me, because we carry a lot of baggage along the way to get to where we are, and we never deal with it, right? And you get to a point where everything's about achievement, and you've got zero fulfillment, you know? And to me, if you're one of those people that's constantly achieving, you know, where's your pressure valve? Where you at? You know, have you learnt to be vulnerable enough? And the more vulnerable you are, and the more that you stand up in the arena, the more courageous you become. And doing this program bloody forces you to have an open mind to learning and I mean, learning in a completely different way. And there is a lot of trust that you have to put in. And I think, you know, if you're going to do this, you have to do it wholeheartedly, so you can allow yourself to truly feel the experience, because it will expand your knowledge about yourself on a very, very spiritual level. And that is the one thing that is irreplaceable. I've never seen anyone else do it. And again, I go back to the point that, you know, you also, having been there yourself, and Tracy also seeing you go through those transformations, you're able to help people like me, right? Because you've been through those struggles yourself, you know? And I mean, I know there's times that you'd like to kick my ass, but, you know, I am bigger. And so, you know, the truth is, you know, and that's the other thing. And I think that's really important. And I want to talk about this one thing. If you're thinking about doing this program, one of the reasons you need to do it is because both you and Tracy will not bullshit you. You know, we can even talk about what Tracy did to me, but maybe we'll leave that out, right? But the point is, you guys, you're not there to be someone's friend. You know, it might sound like we've developed a close bond now, and we have, because of the transformation. But during the entire time that we worked together, mate, you were pressing. There was no holding back. If there was one day where I just wasn't in the right headspace, and you just said, "Well, we're not doing it. Let's book it for next week." Like that, you are both of you are so committed to getting an outcome. So if anyone's planning on doing it, mate, don't suffer in silence. Break free, but you got to make the move and you got to step up. That's a decision that you got to make. And if you make that one decision to step up, that'll change your life itself.
Yeah. Beautiful, mate. I really appreciate you sharing those words of wisdom, and it has been an absolute pleasure working with you. We have definitely learnt from each other, and it's been fantastic helping you. And I'm glad you're continuing with Tracy, because you've got some pretty amazing gifts, and she's helping you really open them up for the betterment of human beings, right? So appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I look forward to doing some more videos, because I'm sure there's some other deeper topics that we can create some content around.
Absolutely, mate. Anytime.
Thanks so much. Cheers, buddy. See ya.